And now, it's Coast Vue with Ricky Matthews. Brought to you by J. Allen Toyota and AGJ Systems and Networks on SuperTalk 103.1 FM.
Welcome to Coast Vue, the show that every single morning here on 103.1 celebrates the men and women who are making coastal Mississippi such an amazing place to live, work, and play. And as I always say, we also celebrate Mississippians that are working hard to make our state better. And, we had one of those conversations yesterday with Stacy Pickering, who is the executive director for the Mississippi Veterans Affairs. He's been a leader in the state for many, many years. But, hey, let me bring Kyle into the conversation and say, Kyle, the thing I enjoyed most about that conversation, first of all, that, Stacy and his team are working so hard to make veterans' homes across Mississippi cutting edge from a technological point of view. It's incredible the kind of things that they're looking at these days, isn't it?
It really is. It's nice to see that there's a more active role in what our veterans are receiving now than I initially thought.
Yeah.
For some reason, I think in the past it kind of almost seemed out of sight, out of mind, but it seems like there's more of an active effort to make sure that these veterans do receive the care that they deserve.
Yeah, the way he said that is actually good. I think it often is out of sight, out of mind. But the way he said it is that as veterans near the end of life, they're not just focused on keeping them comfortable. They're focused on creating the sort of environment and bringing the kind of technology in that can enable them to have as high quality of life as they possibly can. And their extreme focus on that, and the ratings that they get, and when they're rated by family members and veterans, it's no surprise actually that Mississippi continues to rank extraordinarily well when it comes to this area of what our state has to offer. It's pretty impressive, isn't it?
It really is. I wish we could rank higher in other aspects of life.
I know, like COVID, for example. What he said about COVID though was really good. That they had in the original wave of COVID, I think they said, unfortunately, God bless them all, they lost 95 veterans. But in the most recent wave, with everyone vaccinated, they've not lost a single veteran to COVID. It just shows you that vaccinations work, doesn't it?
It really does. And, I think there's been a lot of professionals out front saying that from the beginning. Now, did I see that you posted yesterday on the Coast Vue page about people asking people if they've changed their mind about the vaccine, some of those early non-vaxxers, and then somebody close to them or got more research, more information that they've changed their mind? Have you heard back?
I did, man. It's interesting. Kyle, they fall in two categories. I'll grab one while I'm talking to you. There's one here that I'll share with you, but they fall into two different categories. One is they want to tell me their story, but they don't want to share it with the public. They actually fear, that some of the people around them will put pressure on them for getting the vaccine. Think about that for a minute. That's kind of sad to hear that. I did hear. Let me find it here. A young man named Cal Hatton sent me a note, and he said, if it helps you with your research for your story, he said, and I asked for permission, incidentally, to use his name and also share this note. He said, we decided to get vaccinated as we didn't want to be another one of the statistics of the people who are remaining unvaccinated. We pushed it off because we believed all hype about it was just put together, but about it being put together fast, that is the vaccine, and how many people had negative reactions. So we did our own research, and we decided that it would be better to take the risk of a very low percentage of negative reaction with the vaccine than all the negative from getting COVID. Sadly, the day I got vaccinated, I also felt bad and got tested later and tested positive. So I currently am sitting here with COVID, and my daughter just started a fever last night, moving into today as well. So her and my son are going to get tested at the doctor today, and my wife is coughing and has drainage. So we're upset with ourselves for waiting so long, but upset that we allowed others to keep us from getting the vaccine sooner. Now I'm scheduled to go get the infusion today and pray my kids and my wife don't have it. And if they do, I pray it would be very mild. And he went on to tell me that he has asthma, and he's scared to death, Kyle. I'm hearing this over and over again that people, they had peer pressure. They were getting bad information on Facebook and they got COVID. And now they're like, oh my God, how many people have I infected? It's really sad, man.
Yeah, the peer pressure is unbelievable. It's fine if you don't want to get vaccinated. Okay. Don't put pressure on other people because of something that you believe in and something in your mind. I see that more than anything on social media. It's everybody that, for whatever reason, they don't want to get vaccinated, and they spill all of their reasons for why and try and pressure other people and shame them into getting or staying vaccinated, getting vaccinated or not.
Yeah. Yeah, but you and I have been really focused on, we know that's happening, but we've been focused on saying, okay, there's so much misinformation out there through Dr. Conger and the people who lead the hospitals and all this information they're providing to us. We're going to make sure at least that we're providing the best information possible to people so they can make the best choice, so that they're not making their choices based on bad information, which is, I know this is a serious problem. And Kyle Hatton, thank God and bless him for being willing to tell the story that he was impacted by all that negative information and ultimately decided to get the vaccine. Unfortunately, with him, it's too late. And let's pray that his family is going to be okay. But that's hard to read, isn't it?
It really is. The message out there is so fractured. It's so left and versus right. And just everybody get along, figure something out. Now, one thing, it's kind of aggravating now because you don't know really who's got the right message. And the ones that you think have the right message, you almost get shamed into believing that. You've done all kinds of work in the past, and you've worked with Governor Barber after Katrina.
Yeah.
I've heard you talk about work you've done in Alabama after the oil spill. How does the pandemic now, how does this kind of compare to that? What do you see going on now?
Well, I think, if you compare, I led the oil recovery efforts for Governor Riley. And obviously, I worked closely with Haley Barber, as you pointed out, was a vice chairman of that effort, helped him form it, the commission. I helped him write his book. I wrote the foreword to his book on Katrina. And I've gotten, because I was a publisher for, 15, 16 years, I got a chance to work with a lot of governors. I worked closely with Phil Bryant. What I don't like about what's happening in the pandemic is that it's being politicized, unfortunately. And I wish Tate Reeves, if I were advising Tate Reeves, I would tell him to get out of the mansion. I'd tell him to get on that state jet and go from hospital to hospital and bring a horde of media people with you and share what's happening at the hospitals and urge people to get vaccinated. Now, he said this, and he did this long post regurgitating what the emergency medical folks are doing. The Department of Health and others, Dr. Dobbs and others, no one argues that they're doing a good job. But what he needs on top of that is to put some leadership on top of that. But he says, please pray for your fellow Mississippians. Be smart, remain calm, ignore all the irrational folks. Do what's best for you and your family. But what is best? What's best, Dr. Conger says, and all the doctors are saying, is get vaccinated. But, he says remain calm. There are 130 people hospitalized right now at Singing River. 33 of those are in the ICU. 26 of those are on ventilators. 26. And the average age is 58. 123 are unvaccinated. Only 7 were vaccinated. And the average age of those is 77. You see what those numbers are telling you. But, are you telling those people to be calm? And that they're irrational? They have stories to tell. What I would do if I were advising the governor is say, please get out of the mansion. Go visit these hospitals and bring enormous potential to what's happening. This is happening to Republicans and Democrats alike and everyone in between. This is not a political issue. You cannot force people to get the vaccine. You cannot strong arm them. You can only give them accurate information, but you can certainly, as a leader, urge people to get it. And he's afraid to do that because I believe he's making a political calculus, and that's really unfortunate.
Yeah,
so that's my thought.
At this point, he doesn't want to go back on his stance of the vaccine and the masks, and he's, stood tall, no mask, and now it's.
I know. It's an unfortunate situation, but hopefully, he's listening to his advisors. It's not too late. There's a lot of lives that could be saved if our leadership, and this goes for all leaders across the state, would step up to the plate, like Stacey Pickering did yesterday. He says it's just common sense. Look at the numbers. They tell you what you need to do. So Kyle, thank you, brother. You're such a great. One of the things that's cool about you, Kyle, is that you don't just produce the show. You pay attention, and watching you grow and watching you learn with me, man, we learn something new every day, don't we?
Yeah, we really do. I just try to learn everything I can.
Yeah, well, you're doing a great job. So now let's shift gears. We want to move to Chris Howard, my new friend. In fact, we were visiting a little bit before the show started. Chris is actually the executive director of the Mississippi Department of Rehabilitation Services, and we'll talk more about what that is here in just a second. But back in the day, I was chairman of the board for Goodwill Industries of South Mississippi, and then obviously publisher of the Sun Herald. And Chris and my paths crossed during that time, so it's been a while since I've seen him, and we sort of had to reconnect this morning before the show started. But first of all, let me welcome you to Coast Vue, Chris. How are you?
Man, I'm doing great, Ricky. Thanks for having me on the show today. It's always a great opportunity to talk about the Department of Rehab Services.
And it's good to see you. By the way, I see you're sitting in your office. You must enjoy the outdoors in Mississippi.
I do. People said you play golf, and I'm like, you can't be good just playing golf 3 months out of the year. Because I'm telling you, when deer season opens up in October, I'm in the woods from October to January 31st. So
yeah, me too, man. I got a place up in the Mississippi Delta, and it's about family and faith, and reminding yourself how amazing the state is. The sort of deer hunting part of it is just kind of lagniappe, really, isn't it?
Oh yeah, there's nothing better than sitting on that deer stand and seeing that sun come up and the animals come out. It's just, man, it's like church every morning.
Well, we're so blessed to be in this amazing state in that regard. That is for sure. But hey, Chris, you heard the conversation I was having about COVID. But to you, is the message sort of like Stacey Pickering, just kind of a basic commonsensical message? Actually, let's do this. We're coming to the end of this segment. When we come back, I want to get your thoughts about what you're doing within your agency as it relates to the vaccination, and then we'll talk about a really important effort that you guys are behind. We'll see you after this break.
Hey South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
If Alexa's part of your life, you've got one more way to access SuperTalk. SuperTalk Mississippi is now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Once enabled, just say, Alexa, play SuperTalk Mississippi at any time and start listening. It's that easy. Just one more way to stay informed and connected with your state. Learn more at supertalk.fm/Alexa. SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi. Now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen. Okay. Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi, and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, casinoradio1063.com. SuperTalk Mississippi.
From outer space, visitors from another world. We've had contact with bug-eyed monsters.
This is actually a flying saucer.
Flying saucer?
I'm from another planet.
Where late nights are kind of weird.
Well, they must have a reason for their visits.
The unexplained, the weird, and the downright creepy. Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Late nights. SuperTalk Mississippi. Talking to the people that help make the coast such a unique place to live. This is Coast View with Ricky Matthews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
I'm having a conversation with Chris Howard, the Executive Director of the Mississippi Department of Rehabilitation Services. We'll talk a little bit more about what that agency is all about here in just a second. But when we left for a break, we were talking about sort of the COVID situation. So, Chris, how are you guys approaching vaccinations and, creating an environment where people can be safe?
Yeah, I'll tell you, first of all, I do want to say I've been vaccinated. I got the Pfizer vaccine, both shots. So I am fully vaccinated, and I think it's important, especially in the agency we work for, the Department of Rehab Services, because a lot of times we serve individuals with compromised immune systems. Through one of our programs, we serve individuals who are basically nursing home eligible. So these individuals have very low immune systems, and it's important that we keep our staff safe and also the people we serve safe. And I'll tell you, it's been a crazy year. 1st of June, I sent an email out to staff saying, if you've been vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. If you have not been vaccinated, wear a mask. 1st of July, I made masks optional. That lasted all of 2 weeks, and then the numbers started shooting up, and we're requiring masks again. So all employees, whether vaccinated or not, at the Department of Rehab Services are wearing masks. Again, because I believe it's important because of the people we serve. And, I'm 51 and I feel like I'm in good health. I run most every morning, and I feel like if I got it, I'd beat it. But you just don't know. But my fear is if I give it to my, mother who's over 70 years old, or my in-laws who are over 70, that's what concerns me is, who I may give it to if I test positive. And that's one reason I chose to get the vaccine, was to protect everyone around me.
You heard that story I told from the young man, Cal Hatton, who sent me a note in response to what I put on the Coast Vue Facebook page. Dr. Conger talked about this a lot. He talks to people, literally every day, who have what he refers to as bedside regret. They're in the hospital, they're in the ICU, or maybe not quite to the hospital yet, but they're sick. And their prevailing thought is, why didn't I get vaccinated? And in Kyle's case, he did his own research after being negatively impacted by all the negative information about vaccines. He got vaccinated, but maybe a few days too late, unfortunately. I just hope more people will do what Kyle did and sort of step up and do their own research and get the best information and try to overcome the misinformation. Anyway,
I've heard stories of where, half the family had been vaccinated and the other half had not. And some of the unvaccinated are in the hospital, and you've got the vaccinated family members running back between hospital rooms, checking on their unvaccinated family members. Those are true stories. Those are stories out there that, really show how important it is to get vaccinated to try to beat this thing.
So you've got a really important celebration in August that we're going to come to in just a second. But before we do, remind people what it is your agency does.
Yeah, I'll be glad to. I'll tell you, we are such a great agency. I mean, we are the Department of Rehab Services, and the sole mission of our agency is to help individuals with disabilities. We serve about 100,000 Mississippians across the state, and got, done through various programs, and two of the programs help individuals find those great careers. It's maybe an individual who's worked for 25 years, for example, and got a disability, and now they don't know what they're going to do with their life now, or maybe they've never worked before and want to get into the job market. So what our counselors do is sit down with that individual and determine what they want to do with their life, and then create a plan and walk with them step by step to help them reach that employment goal. So, really a great program to help folks. We say become taxpayers. We help those individuals find those great careers and start earning income, paying taxes, and all that good stuff. So that's part of our agency. The other part is, we deal with individuals, work with individuals who have significant disabilities, like I mentioned earlier. And these folks are nursing home eligible, but through our program, we can provide personal care attendant services to help individuals live at home with their families as opposed to a nursing home. And like I tell people all the time, you think about if you had a family member who had a significant disability, if you had the option, wouldn't you much rather have that person at home with you as opposed to you having to get off work, maybe grab something to eat, change clothes, and run to the long-term care facility. So it's a great program that keeps families together and keeps individuals in the home. So some really good work going on. COVID, man, I'm telling you, this year has been crazy. But luckily through laptops, our case management system is internet based. So we were able to give staff laptops and cell phones and when the governor sent basically, we were doing a lot of telework last year, and our counselors were able to go home, take their laptops, take their cell phones, and create a virtual office in their homes and keep serving individuals. Because, like I tell people, disabilities don't disappear during a pandemic. People still need our services. So it's great to have the technology in place to where individuals can go home, be safe, but also continue to serve those that really rely on our services.
Chris, I don't know how much you guys are focused on this now, but one of the things that Dr. Conger and Kent Nico from Memorial Hospital and Lee Bond and others have said to me is that there's so many people who have been in ICU who've sort of recovered. And I say sort of recovered because the long-lasting injuries to their lungs is pretty significant. And some so much so that they're going to be on disability, probably maybe for the rest of their life. Are you hearing about those cases yet?
We're hearing of some. There are some individuals who maybe are having issues like that but can still work. So they're eligible through our vocational program. So we're serving individuals that way, and we also process disability claims. That's something I didn't mention earlier, but through our agency, we make the disability determinations for Social Security. And, we are seeing some cases like that. So, unfortunately, that's the world we live in right now. And it just, man, it's been a year. I'll tell you.
It has been. Okay. So August is Able to Save Month. Tell me more about that.
Okay. I'll tell you, Able it was created in 2014 by Congress. Mississippi legislature passed it in 2017. We started rolling it out about 2018, 2019, but it's an opportunity for individuals with disabilities to save for the future. If you think about it, if someone's on public assistance, Medicaid says you can't have more than $4,000 in assets or they cut your Medicaid off. Social Security says you can't have more than $2,000 or they cut your Social Security check off. So through Mississippi Able, individuals can put money into an account and they can save for the future. And they don't have to be worried about, is this money going to knock me out of my Medicaid or out of my Social Security? Because under federal law, it's exempt from those asset limitations. So it's a great opportunity, again, for individuals to save for the future. Something else we really like about is, it's also great for parents and grandparents who have young adults with disabilities. As we talk to parents, we hear all the time about, what's going to happen to my child when I pass on. That's the greatest fear of a parent, and especially a parent of a child with a disability. But through this program, they can actually put money back. It's like $15,000 a year with a maximum balance of around $250,000. So parents, grandparents can put money back for that young adult. The earnings are tax-free under the IRS code. Contributions into the account are deductible on your Mississippi state income tax. So, if a grandparent wanted to put some money in there for their grandchild, not only will the grandchild have some money for the future, but the grandparent or the parent will have a tax deduction on their Mississippi income tax. So it's kind of a win-win situation. And August is Mississippi Able to Save Month. And that's why we're really, trying to get the message out this month and talk to people about it. In September, I think it's September 23rd, we're actually having a town hall meeting Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. It's September 23rd from 5:30 to 6:30, and we're going to be down there talking with individuals about Mississippi Able, the benefits of it, giving individuals the opportunity to ask questions. We're going to do it face-to-face and virtual. We're going to do that have both options out there. So people, if they want to come, that's great. If they don't feel comfortable about getting out, they can Zoom in. The Zoom link is on our Facebook page, Mississippi Department of Rehab Services. It's also on our website, mdrs.ms.gov, and also on MississippiAble.com. So we are all over, promoting that and the great possibilities and opportunities it provides individuals to save for the future.
Wow, that is so cool. And look, people can go to MississippiAble.com. That's a great, easy to remember website, MississippiAble.com. And while you were talking, I was thinking about, I have several friends of mine who have who have kids with disabilities, and I bet they may not know about this. And will they be able to find everything they need to know by going to MississippiAble.com?
Yes. Yeah. You can go to MississippiAble.com. It tells you how to set up an account. There is no charge to set an account up. A lot of times we hear parents may set up like a special needs trust, but if you go that route, it could be a few $1,000s to open an account. But if you go to MississippiAble.com, it's free to start one up. I think the monthly fee is like $4 or $5. I know it's under $5. So it's very reasonable. And the way Mississippi set our account up is you can actually start using that money tomorrow, or you can save it 30 years from now. So we try to create it so it's very flexible for the individual. There's a debit card option where if the individual wants to get a debit card, they can start using the money tomorrow, or again, they can put it in a true investment account and save it for the future.
Well, Chris Howard from the Executive Director of Mississippi Department of Rehabilitation Services, I really appreciate you joining us today, and send our thoughts and prayers to your team as they continue to sort of grapple with the COVID situation and provide this really critical service to Mississippians. And we probably should have you back on more regularly. This is such an important conversation, and good luck as you guys continue to try to get the word out about all these programs.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I appreciate you having me on the show today, because it's so important to talk about our programs, and we've got a huge number of programs. So I would love to come back on your show and tell your listeners some of the other things we offer. Because
we'll set that up for sure. Hey, it's been a pleasure. When we come back, we'll have Jeff Duncan from NOLA.com and the Times-Picayune. See you after this.
Listen live or on demand and watch episodes of Coast Vue on your laptop, desktop, or on your phone or tablet by going to SuperTalkMSGulfCoast.com.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, CasinoRadio1063.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking very hard-to-find PPE items to make our community a safer place. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. They were even sending thousands of dollars of PPE supplies free to local schools in need with help from other local business leaders. The next time your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider a local company that supports your ball teams, cheerleaders, and area homeless. Consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply, the local guys that keep your prices fair, your service and selection excellent, and your health our business. Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk.fm has a new look and is more informative than ever with expanded Mississippi news coverage, the latest Mississippi weather, Mississippi sports, and of course, the talk that's important to you. Every show, every podcast, and every late-breaking story. Constantly updating the news the second new developments happen. All in one place. The new SuperTalk.fm.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
From outer space, visitors from another world. We've had contact with bug-eyed monsters.
This is actually a flying saucer.
Flying saucer?
I'm from another planet.
Where late nights are kind of weird.
Well, they must have a reason for their visits.
The unexplained, the weird, and the downright creepy. Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Late nights. SuperTalk Mississippi.
Hey, South Mississippi, the future has arrived. It's 2021, and at J. Allen Toyota, we're here to serve you. Want to let you know that we have Allen's lifetime warranty on every new Toyota we sell. That also comes with Toyota Care. That's 2 years and 25,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. We have a great rental department. Our service department's ready to take care of your current vehicle. We're rolling out J. Allen certified pre-owned for 2021. You got to come to I-10 exit 38 right here in Gulfport. You're going to love what we have to offer. When you think Toyota, think Allen Toyota.
Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen.
Okay.
Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. Talking to Paul Thorne, Mississippi true treasure, really incredible recording artist, singer, songwriter, has been doing it a long time, doing it the right way.
It's almost like a Forrest Gump thing because, I was a boxer, / I worked in a furniture factory, / I had a gig 2 nights a week playing my acoustic guitar in a pizza restaurant, / I was in the National Guard, and,
Wow.
All this stuff was going on at the same time. / I had a writing contract with Rick Hall and Fame.
In a Mississippi Minute. Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi, the SuperTalk Mississippi app, and now available on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
And now, it's Coast Vue with Ricky Matthews. Brought to you by J. Allen Toyota and AGJ Systems and Networks on SuperTalk 103.1 FM.
Welcome back to Coast View. I really enjoyed that conversation with Chris Howard. The work he's doing is really important, and especially enjoyed the conversation with Kyle at the beginning of this show where we talked about the COVID situation and getting vaccinated and all that. Kyle's such a great partner. I'm one of the luckiest guys on earth. Hey, now I want to switch gears. Today is Friday. It's the day we usually spend with Jeff Duncan. The only exception was this past week. We played Jeff on Monday because we had some important COVID news that had to be played on Friday. So we played Jeff on Monday, but he's back today. It's been a really important last couple of weeks at Saints training camp for a bunch of different reasons. But of course, we have a preseason game coming up tomorrow with the Ravens. So timely visit with my friend Jeff Duncan. How you doing, buddy?
Ricky, I'm doing great, man. Football season's right around the corner. Preseason game tomorrow in Baltimore. So this is when it gets fun. Everybody's hopeful and optimistic. Everybody is 0-0 in the valley of 0-0, as Dennis Green, and everybody thinks they're going to the Super Bowl. So it's a fun time.
Yeah, so I should tell our listeners that you're actually at Saints training camp. Wi-Fi connection there, because I'm sure it's being utilized big time, is not as good as it normally is, but it's going to be fine. We'll get through it. If we miss any important points, we'll get Jeff just to repeat himself. But so let's start with just general impressions. I mean, the heat is back, isn't it?
Yeah, talked about it today. They haven't had quite as bad as normal years, but it certainly had its share of challenging days. I talked to a trainer the other day, said their number of IVs they've had to administer. So that's good news. Helps with the mental focus of these players trying to fight through the drain and still concentrate and focus on the play calls and the execution. So that's why he likes to take them outside in that heat and get them ready mentally. But definitely a concern when players overheat. I think we had a guy yesterday, Ty Montgomery, got a little overcome by to be taken in for an IV. So it is dangerous. That's part of the hazards of the go.
So Jeff, I had the opportunity yesterday to watch Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston in their press conferences, and they're both so incredibly focused and positive, and they're certainly saying the right things. And if I had to say anything about my impression after listening to both of them, was that they both did a great job in that conference. But that Taysom Hill he sounded a lot like Drew Brees when he answered questions. I mean, he seemed really in command and serious. And, what's your read on how that's going?
Well, both those guys, I think, have great leadership qualities. I think both are doing everything right so far in that regard. Off the field, I hear their work ethic, their study habits, their leadership are all playing out. Now it's just a matter of who can make the plays on the field. That's really what it down to, who can execute the offense when the pressure's on in these preseason games and different situations. It's really been neck and neck in practice so far. I don't think either player really sees the opportunity or taking a huge advantage in this competition. I think it's all three preseason games, and Sean Payton said as much. He wants to see them all before an evaluation and a final determination.
Well, you literally wrote the book on Drew Brees and Sean Payton, and you've talked to me in the past many times about this is a PhD in offense. And one of the things that sticks out in the conversation, or certainly in the press conferences with separate press conferences with Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston, is this. They both talk about the thinking required. They both talk about the quickness required around the progressions. They just keep talking about it over and over and over again. Now, they both said they had to improve. Jameis tended to be a little more critical of himself, and Taysom seemed to say, it's coming to me quicker. The opportunity now to get some reps. I feel really good about the progressions. But, again, as you point out, they can say all those things, but it's ultimately what happens in the game. But it is complicated, isn't it? They've got a lot to think through in like microseconds, don't they?
And that's what Drew Brees was so brilliant at. One of his greatest assets was his ability to process defensive formations and make those split-second decisions in the heat of the moment. I'm not sure they evaluate that in a quarterback until they are actually thrown into the fire under conditions. And both of those players have admitted they've struggled in the past with that. We see it numbers. Both of them have much higher sack numbers per drop back than Drew Brees. The ball quickly, and that's a concern of mine. I think we've talked about it on the program before. It's a concern this team might take because Hill and Winston aren't quite as quick at. And we talked to Ian Book, the rookie from Notre Dame, the other day about it. He said the same thing, and he also talked about the volume of the play call and just how difficult that is. They have the protections built and the routes and all these different things that are built into the play call here. It's a quarterbacks to kind of master, in addition to actually having to throw the pass.
I can't remember which one, whether it was Hill or Winston, but I think it was Jameis Winston who said this, but he talked about when he steps up to the line of scrimmage and he sees one-on-one with Deontay Harris, that he said, man, that guy can create separation. So, first of all, is Deontay Harris having a good camp? But on top of that, we see the headline that his blood alcohol limit was 3 times the legal limit in that arrest that he was involved with in Baltimore or near Baltimore. So, what's your thoughts on both of those?
Well, I mean, Deontay Harris is definitely coming on. I think he and Marquez Callaway have been the two best receivers in camp so far. He's taken another step forward in learning how to be a receiver at the NFL level. He's so quick and elusive that on returns, I mean, he was an all-pro return man, but he's little. He's diminutive. He's, frankly, I'm 5'7", about 160. That's about what he is. And he's much quicker. That's good for everyone involved. But can he withstand of a 17-game schedule? He's been hurt both years. It's a big man's game, is what Jim Haslett used to always tell me, and that's borne out with Deontay Harris. I think that's the concern. How much is too much with Deontay Harris, and how many play him to try and keep him healthy for the full season? Obviously, it's disappointing what happened in the offseason. When is that going to be adjudicated by the NFL? We don't know, because the NFL been with their discipline until the criminal court case is handled off the field. Be a year, it could be next week, we don't know. But these DUI situations, revolve through the court quicker than, say, what's going on with Marshawn Lattimore. Marshawn Lattimore's next year. So the players can still play until the NFL steps in.
Interesting challenges that we have, but it seems like more of those challenges than we normally have. But this is football. This is the way it is. Next man up. This is why this particular camp is critical, because you've got so many positions that are being challenged. This is why your conversations in the past with me about the depth maybe not being there. Certainly it's not going to be there in certain positions like it has been in the past. So, we're going to be more sensitive to these situations, these legal situations, or these NFL discipline situations. We're going to be a lot more sensitive to injuries as well. What are you seeing on the injury front these days?
Well, Traquan Smith is still out. He's going to play Saturday. They're going to try and get him healthy. They've got a few other players that Sean said. Some of the players, guys like Cam Jordan and Malcolm Jenkins, they don't have to be playing this preseason game. There's nothing for them to prove, so I don't expect them to play. Wouldn't surprise me if Alvin play either. There's no real, I think, gain by exposing them. But I would say this is kind of interesting, Ricky. My column that ran on NOLA.com, I took an informal survey of 30 media representatives all over the media spectrum here locally and asked them their prediction for the season. That is indicative of just how wide open and uncertain this season is. We had everyone 11-6 all the way down to 6-11 across the board. There's really no consensus. It shows just how much unpredictability there is with this season, more so than any that I all the way back to 2006.
Wow. Well, you've had Drew Brees for so long. There's been that solidification, and people are reading the battle between Jameis Winston and Hill as, in different ways. And then, they see the supporting staff coming along. There's some interesting stories that are coming out of training camp. The Juwan Johnson story is one that will be interesting to watch. What's your read on him?
Big, tall receiver played at Oregon that has been moved to tight end. The Saints have been kind of depth shy at tight end, so he's making that. A lot of teams thought he would be a tight end in the NFL when he came out of Oregon, and the Saints receiver last year, he's made that switch. He's looked really good so far. I think it's going to be a slow transition, but so far so good. He's picking things up well, and he can really run for a tight end because he's a former. But it's going to take him a little while to bulk up and be able to handle blocking assignments, to do in this offense.
So we're having a conversation with Jeff Duncan from Saints training camp. A little bit of a Wi-Fi issue, just hang in there with us. A lot of good information. We'll see you after this break.
You can also listen live to SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1 on your Amazon Alexa devices. Once you've enabled the skill, just say, Alexa, open SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast.
SuperTalk.fm has a new look and is more informative than ever with expanded Mississippi news coverage, the latest Mississippi weather, Mississippi sports, and of course, the talk that's important to you. Every show, every podcast, and every late-breaking story. Constantly updating the news the second new developments happen. All in one place. The new SuperTalk.fm.
Hey, South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
Just seems to me people have so much invested in not telling the truth.
When you want the truth.
Simply because it might hurt some feelings.
And nothing but the truth.
Lose some subscribers.
You want the Gallo Radio Show.
I just think in this audience, you still believe that if you tell the truth, you come out ahead.
The Gallo Radio Show.
And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're lying to yourself.
Mornings on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. We're talking to Dale Berra. Take me back to growing up and what it was like in the household with a dad like Yogi Berra.
You know, we grew up with his funny sayings. You know, I remember Dad managing the Mets, and me, Larry, and Timmy are watching the game on TV. And all of a sudden, two streakers run out of the stands on TV, and the camera slips away from them. So when he gets home, me, Larry, and Timmy say, "Hey, Dad, those streakers, what were they, boys or girls? We need to know." And Dad looked us right in the eye and said, "I couldn't tell. They had bags over their heads."
In a Mississippi Minute. Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi, the SuperTalk Mississippi app, and now available on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, CasinoRadio1063.com.
Talking to the people that help make the coast such a unique place to live. This is Coast View with Ricky Matthews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast View. We have Jeff Duncan, no longer with The Athletic. He's with the Times-Picayune and NOLA.com. Frankly, the Advocate, really this incredible statewide organization that they have cobbled together. And as Jeff and I were talking about before the show today, this team, I don't know if there's a team in the United States as far as at a media company that has so many award-winning, Pulitzer Prize-winning reporters, all part of the same staff. And Jeff had the opportunity to work with them after Hurricane Katrina. He had this short stint with the Athletic, but he's back now. And if you don't pay attention to what's happening at NOLA.com and the Times-Picayune, just in general, but especially from a sports point of view, you should consider subscribing. It's a terrific media company. So Jeff, coming back to you for a second, let's go back to the offensive situation. You and I did not talk about Michael Thomas. There's been some more written about it since you and I talked last. So what's your current read on the situation?
Well, I think, Michael Thomas came out with a social media post that he's since taken that was kind of cryptic. And I think a lot of people were thinking that this was a crisis situation and they need to trade Michael Thomas. And that's just overreaction to social media post. Internally, they've got this thing, I think, under control. I don't really as antagonistic as people are trying to make it out to be. Sean Payton, I know with Michael Thomas. I think the key here for the challenge for the Saints is you've got this with a very unique personality. He's kind of a loner personality, yet he's in a team sport. To be assimilated, incorporated within the team, especially when you're paying him $20 million a year, to be a leader in the wide receiver room with all these young wide receivers. But yet Michael Thomas is doing things. He has a process that he follows that he likes to kind of do on his own. And so they're trying through that, I think, and make it work for both sides. And I think they'll get there. I think Mike Thomas will be on the field for this team somewhere early in the season or mid-season once he gets surgery. And I think he'll be very productive once he gets back. And that's probably going to be good for everyone. Look for him, Ricky, to be at the game on Saturday. I think you'll see him on the sideline. It's going to be done with intent. They want to show everybody that he's a part of the team, that he's standing on the sidelines next to Sean Payton, that there's not some internal discord here. So look for that on Saturday. the game.
Well, if you think about it, man, if he get him back healthy, and you continue to keep Callaway healthy, and you don't lose Deontay Harris because of some NFL penalty, and you start looking at some of these other weapons that we've got, man, I mean, we got some talent on this team, don't we, buddy?
Well, I think with the offensive line almost all intact, actually returning intact, that's the strength of the team. And I've talked to Zach Streif about this before. I know he's biased, offensive lineman, but the Saints' best offensive have always been when they've had their best offensive lines. This offensive line's as good as any in the league. So I think whoever wins the quarterback job, they're good enough with this offensive line and these perimeter players, and obviously Alvin Kamara, to put up points. I think the offense is going to be fine. I'm more concerned about the defense and quarterback situation taken care of, because if not, I think we're going to have the Saints are going to have to win a lot this year, and we know how those go. Sometimes you win them, sometimes you don't. You end up like a 500 team.
Yeah, as we've talked about before, it's become a passing league. That's why you continue to focus on your concerns about the defensive backfield. Any bright spots there? Or what's your latest thinking there?
Well, I mean, Patrick Robinson and surprisingly retired this week. That caught everyone off guard. I mean, he was having a camp, but he's the oldest player on the roster, and sometimes if your heart's not into it, it's time to go. But that further weakened the depth at that position, and the Saints right Crawley starting at the other cornerback spot opposite Marshawn Lattimore. I do not think that is going to be the starting cornerback when the season opens. I don't know how the Saints are going to get another corner in here. I think they're working the trade market trying to trade for one, but it takes two to tango. They've got to get a trade to trade with them. But I know they're working it hard, because that is a position in the NFC South with the Tampa Bay receiving core, the Atlanta receiving core, and possibility that Marshawn Lattimore might have to serve some discipline, potentially miss some games. That is a scary proposition with the cornerback situation the way it is.
Ooh, man, it is hard to think about. You think about Tampa just in general. Tampa, that's going to be one of our nemesis this year. So what are you looking for in this game tomorrow?
Well, I think just the basic fundamentals. Does the team cleanly? Are they going to execute? Are they blocking and tackling? Mentally sound, not creating a lot of turnovers or penalties. The quarterbacks play. I want to watch the quarterbacks, especially in situations, red zone, third down, situations, how they perform, because I think that's what this evaluation is going to come down to, along with avoiding negative plays, sacks, and turnovers.
I'm looking forward to watching the Saints game. And usually, Drew might play a little bit, then, we'll see reserves or whatever. But in this case, we've got a quarterback battle we're going to get to observe. So it's going to make it a lot of fun. Hey, listen, Jeff Duncan, you're a good friend. We appreciate you joining us. Stay as cool as possible out there at training camp and enjoy the game tomorrow. We will see you next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about autopsy of the game next week, Ricky. Look forward to it. Have a great weekend.
You bet. You bet. So everyone have a great weekend, and we'll see you Monday.
Follow SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1 on Facebook. Facebook.com/SuperTalk MS Coast 103.1.